So, in the fall of 2019, there was a surveyor who found a patch of land in the Appalachian Mountains. It didn't show up on any type of map. Him and his wife believed it was the site of buried Confederate gold. So naturally, they decided to hike in to find this. But when they didn't return after 3 days, authorities labeled them missing hikers. But here's where it gets really strange. For nearly a week afterwards, their GPS kept sending back coordinates that didn't make any logical sense. And later, reports of feral people living in the caves in that area surfaced online. They were never found and literally vanished without a trace. Now, Mike was the kind of guy who noticed things. As a professional land surveyor in West Virginia, noticing things was literally his job. Subtle shifts in elevation, drainage patterns, boundary anomalies, that type of stuff. But there was one thing Mike noticed that had nothing to do with work. He was obsessed with a long-rumored piece of local folklore, an unconfirmed legend that a stash of Confederate gold was hidden somewhere in the Appalachian wilderness near Monroe County. Mike was running a routine survey of undeveloped land somewhere about 20 miles outside Union, West Virginia. Dense pine, clear roads, just standard work he was doing. But that's when he said he found them. 3 large moss-covered stones, positioned in a perfect triangle. At the center was a hollow, and inside that, buried just a few inches of soil, was a rusted Confederate belt buckle. That night, he called 2 of his longtime friends and told them he thought he found the vault. He wanted to be sure before anyone else knew. It was his discovery. He was adamant about it, his best friend later told authorities. They left on a Friday afternoon with their truck and camping gear. But by Monday, they hadn't returned. No calls, no texts, just nothing. When the police finally pinged their last known GPS signal, they were shocked. Mike's handheld device was still transmitting, active, for 6 more days after they vanished. It showed movement, but only within a 1 square mile zone in the middle of the forest. The coordinates didn't match any mapped terrain. In fact, actually, according to topographic overlays, the spot they were in didn't exist. No caves, no trails, no clearings, just a tangle of uncharted woods. Search and rescue teams were dispatched. Drones were launched, but no trace was ever found. Not of Michael, not of Alyssa. Just a truck, parked at the end of the forest road, locked and untouched. 3 months later, though, during a controlled burn several miles from the search area, a fire team stumbled upon something strange. A fresh set of survey flags, bright orange, not weathered, marked along a barely visible trail. They followed them. They led to a cave opening that wasn't on any map, and carved into the wall near the entrance was a set of coordinates. When compared with Michael's GPS logs, the coordinates were a near match, but one number, just one, had been changed, and that single change moved the location 4 miles off course into a dead zone with no signal, no landmarks, and no light. The cave was closed off after that, not because they found anything dangerous, because the team leader refused to go any further. He told authorities strange people live deep in these woods and caves. When asked by reporters later on what he meant, he said, "It felt like we were being watched by something. And there are things in these woods and caves that just don't make any sense. You just need to leave them alone." To this day, Michael and Alyssa have never been found. No remains, no gear, no signs of a struggle. Just ghost data from a GPS unit that refused to stop transmitting until the battery eventually died. And whatever it was sending from, it wasn't on the official map. But according to the raw coordinates, it was deep under the Appalachian Mountains, like buried miles below the surface, like they were spelunking. And maybe That's why they buried the gold there in the first place, to keep it from being found. So, what really happened? Did they run into feral people who didn't take kindly to their presence? Or did they just get lost naturally? Maybe they were exploring a cave and got lost, or it caved in. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Urban Legend Hunter. Until we meet again.